Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take the love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join with me are my co-host, Joseph.
Hello.
And Jehu.
Cacao!
That was a real classic, Kaka. That sounded like all the oldies. I appreciated it.
Right on.
It's October now. It's Halloween month. We are notoriously all chickens here and hate scary movies. But this month, we're watching scary movies. Our first one, The Invisible Man.
And, you know, it's funny that you mentioned that we're all scaredy cats, because I remember when we were just discussing this on our text thread, like one of the stipulations was no torture stuff, because, you know, torture stuff's just really unpleasant to watch.
This was torture stuff.
But, well, I mean, I guess. But to me, as somebody who gets up from my bed in the middle of the night at least once a week to go and like make sure like no one's broken into my fucking windows or doors or something, this might have been worse for me. Like I made it like a third of it with the way into this is like, maybe I should have watched Hostel.
Yeah, no, this was like mental torture.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Saw torture where, you know, it's people falling in a pit of needles. But I mean, as a person with like notorious high anxiety, I felt terrible for this girl this whole movie, and it was like my worst nightmare come to life. Like it felt like torture porn, because this is all the worst nightmares of the concept of an invisible man come to fruition.
Yeah, they made, the Invisible Man a lot less fun than it's ever been in any. And I don't mean that as a dig. It's just usually, no matter how scary it tries to be, it's mostly fun that there's a guy you can't see. But this was not. This is not fun that you can't see this dude.
Yeah, we should probably say a little bit more. This is a Blumhouse movie.
It is.
I guess it's intended to kind of be like a remake of the idea of the Invisible Man, but
well, yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. So the Invisible Man, one of the Universal-owned monsters, like the classic monster things from early cinema. That's now like it's like practically public domain, but it's also kind of not. I don't really understand how it works. Based on the H.G. Wells stories about a guy who finds, I can't remember, it's like a potion or whatever, and makes him invisible and is like a thief or something. I can't remember exactly the plot.
All of that sounds true.
Yeah, but this is not really like any of those stories. To me, this reminded me of a much different movie, which is popularly referenced, but I don't think a lot of people know about it. I think this movie had a lot more in common with Gaslight. Are you guys familiar with this?
I have not seen Gaslight.
It is. Well, I haven't either. It's from 1944. I don't watch things before 1990. But it is that movie and the play it's based off is the origin of the term gaslighting. And it's essentially about a woman who is in a relationship with an abusive relationship with a guy, and all these weird fucking things keep happening. She's hearing strange sounds and seeing strange things with lights and like objects disappearing and reappearing and all this kind of stuff. And anytime she tries to talk to her partner or whatever about it, he calls her crazy. He's like, none of that shit is happening. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And the course of the thing is causing her to question her own sanity, causing other people to question their sanity, by having her kind of imagine all this shit or make her think that she imagined all this shit that's happening. And that's exactly what this fucking movie is about.
Yeah, for sure. This movie stars Elizabeth Moss.
Yep.
She's, definitely the lead and like almost 100% of the screen time. Has that guy from Haunting at Hill House. I don't know if he was also supposedly the invisible person, but he's there at the end, and it's got Aldrich Hodge, who is just cast as Hawkman.
I was just about to say, isn't that the guy who just got cast in a DC movie? But yes, that's the guy.
You know, when he first showed up, I was like, this guy's buff as shit. He should play a superhero. And then I was like, no, he will be.
So wait, who played the Invisible Man?
You watched Haunting at Hill House, right, Jehu?
Yeah.
It was the drug-addicted brother.
All right. Because all I could think of with this was when I saw that dude, I didn't recognize him anything. I was like, oh, wow, one of the ways that Blumhouse cut the budgets, instead of hiring Jake Gyllenhaal, they just hired this guy.
He is Gyllenhaal-esque.
He's like Gyllenhaal-esque without being what's his name, Jared Leto.
For sure. This movie, I think, was only made for like $11 million. Speaking of being cheap, like it's real cheap.
It's a Blumhouse movie. They don't cost a lot of money. The director of this movie, Leigh Whannell, also directed Upgrade, that Venom knockoff movie with the knockoff Tom Hardy a couple years ago, which is pretty good. I don't know. I still haven't seen Venom, but I would venture to say it's probably better than Venom. But one of the things that I really liked in that movie that I think transfers into this movie is there's a lot of like inventive camera work in that one that stood out. And I think the choice of shots in this movie are a big part of what make it so fucking stressful to watch.
There are definitely very intentional moments where I found myself looking all over the screen expecting something to happen, just like one minor little thing. It reminded me a lot of Paranormal Activity, but just like way better in that, like, you have this shot of this room, and I know something is supposed to happen, so it's like, where's Waldo trying to find the thing? And that was actually, like, I'm not gonna say fun, but it was suspenseful in a way, just waiting for it. And I think it's shot beautifully.
It is shot really beautifully.
Yeah, it's a good looking movie.
Just before we dig in too much deeper, for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, the plot is Elizabeth Moss is in kind of this psychologically and occasionally physically abusive relationship that she escapes from a scientist, optics genius guy, but then immediately after escaping gets news that he's dead and left her a bunch of money. But then over the course of the movie, you start to question, is he really dead, or did he just find a way to hide in plain sight in some sort of invisible, optics-related contraption?
Which, by the way, his scheme is General Hospital level convoluted.
Yeah, no, for sure.
There's a way simpler way to get to this, I feel like.
For sure. I think that's true. I think it would be fairly easy to start poking holes in this movie if we really want to, but I think it was fun enough that you didn't have to.
So what were our general reactions to The Invisible Man?
Again, we don't do scary movies on this podcast. None of us really do. It scared the shit out of me, especially the first third of it really fucked me up. So I didn't enjoy it, but I appreciated it. And then by the end, I was having a good time. So I think it's well better than Transformers.
I feel like instead of giving my view here, I feel like I've got to give Ian's point of view just for a second. And that is, was Elizabeth Moss hot enough for all this trouble?
That is an interesting question.
Now that I've put Ian's point out there, which I don't know for sure that he has, but that would definitely be Ian's point. This is a good movie. I think, we haven't gotten into spoilers yet, but I've already spoiled part of it just because part of the thing is for a while you're not even supposed to know if the Invisible Man is real or not. But, I'm pretty sure we could guess that he is since his name's in the title.
Right.
When has that ever happened that something was like, is it real or not? And then at the end, it turned out not to be real.
That would be a fun twist to a movie.
Actually, I can think of one movie that's like that, but I don't want to say because I don't want to blow the movie. If nobody.
I was about to say I could also think of at least one, but we'll move on.
I like this movie a whole lot. I thought it was pretty good. I have pretty low expectations for the horror genre in general. But when you make a good horror movie, I tend to like them a whole lot. I don't really know why that is, but I think this movie's really well made. I think it's well acted. But one thing I think it does that I wanted to highlight is we've talked a lot about how Marvel films are franchise films wearing the mask of a genre film. And I think this movie does that. I think it's a interesting look on abuse and trust and some complex issues that a lot of people deal with in our society, and it puts it in, this package of a horror movie of a property that you're familiar with. It takes a lot from the movie Hollow Man, if anyone remembers that film. It just does it way better than that movie does. The abusive, invisible ex-boyfriend, I think, is the exact same plot as Hollow Man, if I remember correctly. But this movie's just... probably because I think Elizabeth Moss acts really well in it. I feel a connection with her.
I should amend my statement and say Elizabeth Moss fucking crushes it like she always does.
She's really, really good in this.
Is she ever not really good in something?
That's fair.
I was just thinking today that if no one's dubbed her the queen of this golden age of TV drama we've been in for the past, 15 or 20 years. They should, because I mean, she's been in the most good shit.
Yeah, and she's really like, I don't know that she went. I don't want to say she went away, but she really has like reestablished herself since *Handmaid's Tale* and just killed it in everything. And props to her.
But to your point, Christian, that's why I wanted to bring up why I feel like this movie has a lot of comparisons to the movie Gaslight, because in a culture currently where gaslighting is a frequently abused term,
yeah,
potentially outside of its original context, it's nice to have a movie that kind of really resets and establishes what that term really means, even though Invisible Manning is not quite as catchy as gaslighting.
# Invisible Manning.
Yep. Sounds like one of the Manning brothers. That doesn't work.
I honestly think that would get on my nerve list, because for some reason, gaslighting, the term, not the concept, it's totally a concept to be upset about, but just that we picked that word drives me nuts.
Yeah, agreed.
I hate hearing it.
Yeah, I think I probably wouldn't have a problem with the word if it wasn't used 1,000 times every day. I would just say, even in my social circles where I know the people don't know the definition of it.
Ian. I don't know what that was.
Sometimes people use it when they just mean lying. And lying is a much shorter word. It's just easier. You can just say lie or lying and get done with that.
Oh, that's good. Invisible Man.
Invisible Man. Yeah, so spoilers from here on out if there's kind of spoilers, but if you haven't watched it, go watch it first, then jump back in.
It's available on HBO Max.
Of course it is. It's the only thing we fucking do on here.
Yep.
I was reading the trivia about this movie, and one of the things that I think what we talked about earlier, the movie does really well is it frames shots where, as you're trained, as we as viewers are trained in the language of film, that there is negative space where we feel like something should be happening.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I think really
they take advantage of that.
They absolutely take advantage of it, and really, really effectively. And supposedly there are a lot of shots where they did have like a CGI invisible person in the shot just to kind of, I don't know, either to establish realism, establish that they could fit in this, do this stuff. But it's also unclear. Apparently only the director, and some of the actors though, which shots had a CGI person in it and which ones didn't.
If we were still using tube TVs, this would be a hard one to pan and scan.
Yeah. Thank goodness we're not. We've moved past.
Right.
I'm curious to hear what you guys thought of the just general concept of suit with cameras all over it.
I mean, look, I feel like they could have done better with the design a little bit. I think you could pick out shit to nitpick about it. I think the suit's fine. I'd rather a suit than again, some kind of chemical or something. But the actual look of the suit didn't wow me. It looked like a Blumhouse budget kind of thing.
Who wins in a fight? This guy in the Invisible Man suit or Harry Potter in the cloak?
Harry Potter in the cloak. Well, I think this guy is way more abusive than Harry Potter is, but I'm going to say Harry Potter.
Both super into murder.
Yeah, that's true.
Does Harry Potter does Harry Potter have his wand?
Harry Potter doesn't have... I'm going to go with Harry Potter does have his wand, but he does have both Ron and Hermione under the cloak with him.
Oh, yeah, the Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't love the suit. I just didn't love it from a design aspect, and I definitely think the moments where the movie looks cheap are the moments with the suit in it.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean that's why I think the first third of the movie is so much more effective. I mean, it kind of changes tone over the course of the movie. Towards the latter half, it's less like, oh, this is scary, and more like, I'm gonna fucking get this guy if it fucking kills me. But the first third of it is shit that I experience, or at least I think I experience. Just those little sounds, those little movements, that thing that's I don't remember putting that there. That's really fucking scary to me. Like you said, that's kind of the paranormal activity aspect of it. I just think this one finishes better, I guess.
It did make me kind of think that I would be not interested is the wrong word. It made me think that maybe Paranormal Activity would have benefited from not being a found footage movie. I think they were really
that
cool.
movie was made for $1 million.
I realize it was made for super cheap. I'm just saying, I think this takes some of the the concept of the gags of those movies, and enhances them because it's not a found footage film.
That's fair.
I'm not saying that would have made that movie any better, but that dude's name is Mika. It's already worse than Transformers.
God, I fucking hate that every time. I still stand by the original Paranormal Activity. It's pretty good. It's how, what's his name? Jason Blum made all of his fucking money to do these kind of movies.
That's true.
So, you know, they're not as bad as I think they get credit for. They just go off the rails after one. You know, the lore gets more elaborate, and the gimmick gets a little less charming.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Saw problem.
Yeah.
That does kind of bring my next question. Do you guys think that this movie, do you expect that they could make a sequel? Do you think that there is room for a universe out of this?
I mean, yeah.
Only if Elizabeth Moss becomes a fucking spy. I
think she becomes the villain.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think you could continue it on, Invisible Man, and it's Elizabeth Moss just fucking wrecking shit.
Just killing abusers everywhere, vigilante
and it
justice.
It would be the only time that I'd be down with the concept of an anti-hero. This is it. This is the one go where I'd be like, okay, fuck Venom, fuck Deadpool.
This feels like it should be in the Unbreakable universe.
Yeah, no, that'd be perfect.
I mean, it could basically be like Hard Candy with superpowers and not being shitty.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I would like to see her continue on, but just using the invisible suit for petty conveniences, just like she doesn't want to wait in line at a deli or, you know, whatever.
I mean, that's, you know, this is super off topic, but that was my favorite, like, premise of the show Misfits. Is like, what if you got superpowers, and instead of like becoming a great good person or a great evil person, you're just still kind of an asshole that could have used your powers.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, do you think that there will be more of these type of films, of these like old school Universal monsters, but updated for
could you do them good though? Audience? So far, the track record is not great here.
I agree, and this one is the only one I can see that translates, because you can update it to like match technology, and current fears. Like, do you make this exist?
It's actually scary.
Yeah. Well, it's scary because I mean, like, a suit made of cameras maybe not realistic per se, but it heightens fears we naturally all have, like you talked about. Like, I remember in Kate and I's first house, one night I heard like something fall. I went in the kitchen and there was like a knife laying on the floor, and I was like, well, I for sure did not put that there.
But on that specific note, before you go on, I was really worried that there wasn't going to be a knife payoff for the amount of knives that Elizabeth Moss pulls.
They set it up great.
Yeah, and so like I got worried that towards like the very end, is like, that fucking knife is not going to pay off at all, and then it does pay off, and it's super satisfying. Really enjoyed that. This
is just the only character. Maybe, I don't know, Frankenstein even seems too out there, but this one works really well. It was the right choice.
Yeah,
I will use the premium asshole move of answering your question with a question, which is anybody trying to make one of anything anymore?
That's true.
You know, I don't know if they'll succeed, but they will definitely try to use this formula on other Universal properties.
I think I could maybe see the argument of making individual films. I guess the thing would fall apart if you tried to make a universe.
Right.
You probably could make a Wolfman movie that's standalone, that is scary for a modern audience. But I don't see
that long ago.
Yeah, but you made it like a remake of the Wolfman. Like, just make a scary werewolf movie. But I don't know if you could set that up and exist in the same universe as this.
Fair enough. I'm not sure either. This one does seem, just again, you know, it's I think the closest to your natural fears, and despite the fact that the actual technology is still maybe a little out there, and the idea of an invisible person is pretty like easy to grasp.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Black Mirror episode in that.
Well, you know, I like it a little bit less as soon as you said that, but that's fair. Well, do we have anything else on this one?
I got nothing.
No, I liked it a lot. I'll watch it again in like a year.
Yeah. But I like the Hawkman guy. He was good. He had big triceps.
Massive triceps.
Yeah, I was like, same thing. I was like, this guy could be a superhero, and I was like, oh, I think he was cast as a superhero, so we're good.
Well, maybe now that Black Adam is delayed, he'll get cast as a superhero in a better movie.
Man, I can't believe they did not give that movie a new date. That's so funny.
It's wild. But yeah, that's the Invisible Man. Before we even get into the next thing, do we want to talk about? So I think the original plan. I don't know if we started with this up front, Christian, but we're getting in the Halloween spirit. The whole month of October, we're going to try anyway, and do a horror movie a week. Do we have any things in mind?
Oh,
I want to do at least one schlocky 80s movie.
Okay, I'm down with that. Should we try to hit different kinds of horror? Like, I think this checks off kind of like, the classic universal monster horror box, whether it be necessarily that or not. But, like, definitely, like, a slasher horror. And I would like to do some sort of gothic thing if we could, haunted house type of thing. But
okay.
Right on.
I don't know what that would be because I don't want to watch that stupid Guillermo del Toro house movie again.
Maybe it's aged better. Maybe that would fit into our if it remember them better than we remember it type thing. I don't know. I was going to suggest Cabin in the Woods just because I want to watch
that's a
Cabin
good
in the
one.
Woods again.
Cabin in the Woods is a good one. I'll tell
like
you guys,
that one.
I have never seen The Thing, and I know that's
Woo.
generally considered a classic.
Do The Thing.
Oh, gosh, that would actually be a really good episode, I think. But man, I am not emotionally prepared to make myself endure that again. I will do it for science, but
All right, well, this is the time. Cabin in the Woods or The Thing next week.
I think we saved The Thing for last.
All right,
okay,
we'll save it. We'll do Cabin in the Woods next week.
We
Cool.
do Cabin in
Awesome.
the Woods, and then let's do like a 80s slasher movie or whatever. For
Love it. We'll
like,
we'll come prepared next week. We won't, but we'll do the same thing and we'll figure
Cabin
it
in
out.
the Woods.
Cabin in the
Happening.
Woods. But yeah, join us for the rest of this month as we continue to wuss our way through October.
Yep.
Anyway, that's it for Invisible Man. What have we been watching this past week, guys?
Let me see. I watched The Haunting. Speaking of horror movies, this one's from 1999. I assume both of you have seen it before.
Nope.
Stars Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
You hate Liam Neeson.
I do. And Owen Wilson, who I also don't like. I don't like anyone in the cast of this movie. It is based on The Haunting of Hill House.
I was about to say, is it because there's two released back to back? That one of them was called Haunted Hill and wasn't based on it, and then there was the other one. So this is the one that was based on it.
Yes. So there's House on Haunted Hill, which is not based on Haunting of Hill House. Right. And then there's this movie called The Haunting, which is based on Haunting of Hill House.
It's very confusing.
It is extremely. It has almost nothing in common with the original book or movie version. But Haunting of Bly Manor comes out on Friday. And even though it's an anthology series, I didn't really want to commit to rewatching all of Haunting of Hill House. So I thought, I'll do it in 2 hours. And it's totally different. I should have known that. I kind of did, but I accepted it anyway. I think this movie is better than it gets credit for. It's still like a terrible 90s horror movie, but I enjoy it. It's cheesy and fun. What I really like about it is I think it's actually a really good example of a gothic horror story in that the house is the ghost. It is the whole concept of this home that just is infiltrated with darkness and history and has a spirit about itself. And I like that. Having said that, I hate Liam Neeson. Spending 2 hours with that dude is always a chore for me. But you do get to watch Owen Wilson's head get knocked off. So that is worth the price of admission alone. What else did I watch this week? I finished Doctor Who, finally.
Congratulations.
Right.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to talk about it at length. I have never talked. This is the first time I watched the Lady Doctor. And she's fine. She's not great. But there hasn't really been.
Is it because of her vagina? Is that why she's terrible?
No, it's not that. It's because of Chris Chibnall. I don't think he's a very good showrunner. He doesn't really put her in positions to succeed. She's just not given a lot to work with, and she is very different than the Doctors we've gotten before. Since Doctor Who came back, it's very he's sad and alone, and this Doctor is very happy and excited to have people around her all the time, and I just don't think there's enough emotional depth there for her to exhibit range. The second season is better than the first season, and also kind of a giant middle finger to like Doctor Who lore. So it's a show. And I started Uncharted 4, and Troy Baker deserves an Oscar. That guy is so good in every video game he's in. I don't understand why.
You used to not like Troy Baker.
I've come around.
I see that.
I think he's really good in this, and he's really good in Arkham Origins. His version of the Joker, I think, is as good as Mark Hamill's in the Arkham games. But yeah, no, I like it a whole lot. It's very cinematic. It's even more cinematic than the other games prior to it.
It is.
But it looks good, and the mechanic upgrade is really impressive.
So I love the grappling hook.
Yes,
it's super fun.
So much fun. I think the shooting mechanics are way better in it too. Yeah,
also,
no, I really.
Also,
it's
a
really
pirate
good.
story is just so fun.
Yeah. I mean, anything on water is fun to me, but the fact that I get to like scuba dive and stuff also cool. No, I like it a whole lot. That I believe is it.
All right, Hurt.
I didn't really watch a lot this week that I wanted to talk about, but right before the podcast started, we got the very sad news that Eddie Van Halen had passed away, and I figured I would take this time to talk about Van Halen for a second. My very first record I ever bought, actually on cassette, was Van Halen 1984. At the same time, actually, as ZZ Top's Eliminator and Huey Lewis and the New Sports, which is a good way to start. All three of those records stuck with me, but Van Halen the most. Bought them all at the flea market for $10. Good deal. I thought about what I could do during this segment that could be Van Halen-y. I've thought about ranking the classic David Lee Roth records, but honestly, they're all fucking great. So what I decided I would do this time instead is try to talk you in to listening to the reunion record. I think it was in 2009. It wasn't really the original lineup got back together. David Lee Roth rejoins the band, and Michael Anthony gets kicked out, and Eddie brings on his son as the new bass player. And the record they made had like a mixed reception. A lot of people didn't like the absence of Michael Anthony, and particularly the absence of his harmony vocals. And I think that wasn't helped by Tattoo being the first single, which had those god-awful fucking computer backup vocals on it. But I think it is a good record, and I have a way, and I realize I'm talking to nobody here. I'm fully aware of this.
As opposed to every other week.
Yeah, I have a way to make this record enjoyable to you if you've listened to it and it's not enjoyable to you. Okay, number one, there's too many fucking songs on it. All the classic Van Halen records, if you average them out, have 9 songs on them. This record has 14 songs. That's too many fucking songs. That's too much weedly deedly deedly to sit down to at one time. So make yourself a playlist and do these songs in this order. I'll try to run through it quickly. Tattoo, She's the Woman, You and Your Blues, Chinatown being the best fucking track on this record, Bullet Head, Big River, As Is, The Trouble with Never, and Stay Frosty. I think at that trim down and rearrange, it's a better record. Second thing, change the name of the record in your heart. A Different Kind of Truth is a gross fucking title. Change the name of the record to I Don't Feel Tardy. Great name for a Van Halen reunion record. Full disclosure, I also named my band's record I Don't Feel Tardy, but I did it because I love Van Halen. Finally, the final ingredient I think to enjoying this record, buy a jet ski. I think it would go really well with a jet ski. It just seems like jet ski movie. But yeah, I fucking love Van Halen. I'm trying to be funny right now, but honestly, I'm fucking heartbroken about this. And, it's, I think Eddie was maybe kind of an asshole on his own thing, but, fuck it. I didn't know that when I was 9 years old. I just thought he looked cool and sounded cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty sad. I mean, he's a powerhouse and incredibly talented. I do not love Van Halen near the amount that you do, Jehu, but
right.
I do enjoy Van Halen. I remember when I was about 15 years old, I was playing I got asked to like fill in to play drum set with a band, and the first song they wanted to practice with, I joked about it at the beginning, was Running with the Devil. And it kicked my ass. Like I immediately was like, I can't do this. You guys are all better than me. I can't play that song. But they're just incredibly talented dudes, and he was truthfully the heart of it. And I mean, as much as I think David Lee Roth may think he was the heart of it, I don't know that we'd all would have known Van Halen if it weren't for Eddie Van Halen. But
I mean, that dude is just one of those things that he changed the face of rock and roll. Before him,
he did.
Guitar players did not sound like that, and after him, for around 12 years, guitar players only sounded like that.
Would we have had Yngwie Malmsteen if there weren't for Eddie Van Halen?
Oh, God, no. There was a while there that after he came out, just everybody had to get their own Eddie Van Halen. Thin Lizzy got Eddie Van Halen. You know, Ozzy got Randy Rhoads. You know, it was just the thing you had to do.
Yep.
I like Jump.
Jump is a great one.
It's a good song.
This is not about Eddie. This is more about Dave. But what kind of asshole stands with his back against the record machine? Other people might want to use the fucking jukebox, dude. You know? Anyway, that's what I got to say about Van Halen.
I like it.
Yeah, it's been a crappy year for rock and roll, guys. We lost, Neil Peart and now Eddie, and I mean there were a few other people, other great musicians, but definitely if you fell in love with, I think, rock music in the late 70s and early 80s, it's been a tough year.
It still blows my mind that it's Peart. I've always thought it was Peart. It's kind of like, have you ever heard Rihanna say her own name? Because she says it Rihanna.
That's funny, because it seems like it would be Rihanna, and I would say Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? Like that seems like what a dumb redneck would say her name.
That's how people from Milton would say it, for sure.
Right.
I also haven't watched that much this week. I spent most of it playing The Last of Us 2, which was literally twice as long as I expected it to be. My Ghibli film this week, we have almost officially run out of the good ones. I'm giving it like one or two more, but the last few have not been great. I watched Pompoko, which is a movie about, they're like little Japanese raccoons called tanuki. But even in the Japanese subversion, they call them raccoons, but they're a different species, which is kind of important because in like Japanese lore, this is important for you, Christian, because I didn't know this until this movie. Apparently, tanuki are known to have shape-shifting powers.
Well, that makes B&A way
doesn't it make more sense?
Yes.
And so it's about, like all Ghibli films, humanity is destroying all their natural resources, and so in this one, the tanuki are trying to find ways to preserve or take back their natural land, their home. It's very like goofy and really long, and there's a really important plot point that one, all the male tanuki are drawn with testicles. But not only are they drawn with testicles, their testicles have special shape-shifting powers that none of the females have. So it's a strange movie. And
this is a Ghibli movie?
It is a Ghibli movie.
All right.
This sounds like some shit that you're punking us with.
I mean, that's super fair. If this movie was an hour and 20 minutes, I would have enjoyed it and recommended it to other people, but it was 2 hours long, and it was too long to be funny for that long.
I feel like you've recognized that I zone out during this Ghibli part, and you just came up with the shape-shifting testicles to make sure I was listening.
Yeah, sure. Why not? The only other thing I did was I finished playing Last of Us 2, which I thought was really great. Also Troy Baker and our good Critical Role friend Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey.
How did you feel about Laura in the end of that game?
Have you played it?
No, but I know there's a lot of drama about it.
Okay, yeah. Well, so that's something that I didn't actually know going into it. So I really enjoyed the game. I don't want to get too much into it for anybody who hasn't played it because, there's just a lot that they don't share before you start the game. But it's literally exactly twice as long as I expected it to be. So it was a fairly long single-player campaign, which I was okay with, and I thought the story was really good. After I finished it, like I do for like everything that I enjoy, I just read a bunch of shit about it online and watch a bunch of YouTube videos about it. And that's when I found out that a lot of people really fucking hated this game.
Yeah, a lot, yeah.
Which I was really curious about because I just without any other context. Really, I didn't want to read anything about it beforehand because I knew I'd get spoiled. Without any other context, really enjoyed it. And so I was reading like what people had problems with, and like several websites had lists of plot holes. I'm using that word in air quotes, which you can't see, because to me, the word plot holes is like Buzz acting like a toy when he thinks that he's not a toy when Andy's in the room, you know? Or
I've never thought of that, but that is an interesting point.
But like the plot holes that they're pointing out are just like, this character wouldn't do this in this situation. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really a plot hole. That's just kind of like you're not in that character's head. That character is doing what that character did. You can choose to accept it or not. So I felt like a lot of the reviews are just like, I didn't like that this person did this thing when they did it, which I guess that's fine. I feel like they did enough groundwork to earn all of the decisions that they did. I have seen some compelling points for like why the first game is stronger, and I can dig that, but I had a really good time with it. I say good time. Good time is maybe not the right word. It's very stressful, and I cried several times, but I think it's a really, really good game. One of the best I've ever played. So I highly recommend it if you got a PS4.
Crying in a video game is the most 2020 thing I've heard.
Sure, why not?
Well, it's like, in a book or in a movie, like we've apparently, and I don't mean like 2020 as 2026, but I mean like 2020 as like modern society. Like we've elevated art to the point where like, books can make us cry, and then movies, and then television, and now we're at the point where video games, the stories are so compelling in video games that they make us cry.
I mean, that's fair. I don't remember if I cried at the first one, but I probably did. Good job, Neil Druckmann. You know what you're doing. But I think that's it, unless you guys have anything else.
I do not. Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods. Next week, Cabin in the Woods. It's kind of fucked up that we're doing Cabin in the Woods instead of a Cabin in the Woods movie now that I think about it. Like Evil Dead or something. But,
I could also be down with Evil Dead. I just want to point that out.
I could be down with that too. But, I mean, we'd probably save this for the podcast about it. But, I mean, I think it's worth discussing if a deconstruction of a genre can also be a good thing in that genre.
All right, well, fuck it. We'll do Cabin in the Woods. Well, it'll be a double feature as we talk about other Cabin in the Woods movies.
Right.
But yeah, join us next week for that. And if you have any suggestions for other horror movies you want us to talk about, write us in at realphonies@gmail.com, and also on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, on Instagram real_phonies. I've jumped to these things, but please rate and subscribe and tell your friends about the podcast, particularly if they like horror movies, because we'll never do them again. This is it. This is the only run. But yeah, thanks again to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later.